Good morning everyone. In the last class we have discussed the electrolysis of electrolytic solution using fused electrolytes. And now we will see there is a case 2 electrolysis of aqueous solutions by using inert electrodes. Here, case 2. There is the electrolysis of aqueous solutions. Here we will use inert electrode. We can use two types of electrodes here. One is the inert electrode and active electrode. Mostly here inert electrode we will use platinum. Inert electrode means it will not react with the electrolyte which is present in the electrolytic cell. Only it can act as electron carriers. There are some active electrodes that can react with that electrolytic solution and also acts as electron carriers. The type of electrodes, two types, inert and active. Anyhow, here we will see with the inert electrode, the electrolysis of aqueous solutions. Let me take example of aqueous NaCl. The last class we have discussed about the fused sodium chloride. When you do the electrolysis of fused sodium chloride, at cathode sodium can deposit, at anode chlorine can liberate. In case of aqueous NaCl, what happens? And here the aqueous NaCl can give the ions like Na plus, Cl minus. Apart from that is the aqueous medium. Water is a solvent here. It can give H plus and OH minus ions also. So in the previous case we have only one type of cations and anions, but here we have two types of cations and anions, sodium plus and H plus, and Cl minus and OH minus, two types of cations and two types of anions. So which will deposit at their respective electrodes out of these two. Now there is a competition between the both cations and anions. So if that is the case, then the cation which is having more reduction potential value can move towards cathode and it can deposit or liberate it at their respective electrode. Similarly, anion which is having more oxidation potential can move towards anode and it can deposit and liberate at their electrode. That is a condition. We have to check their electrode potential values. So first, in case of cation, having more electrode potential. Here electrode potential means reduction electrode potential. More reduction potential. Can deposit at cathode. Similarly, in case of anion which is having more oxidation potential can deposit at anode. In case of anion, so anion which is having more oxidation potential, can deposit or liberate at anode. Now let us see in this case, in case of aqueous NaCl, first at cathode, what type of reactions can take place? We have the sodium plus, it can take electron, it can be converted into the sodium solid, it can deposit as a sodium metal. But in this case, the reduction potential of sodium is minus 2.71 ohm. Similarly, we have the cation hydrogen. For the liberation of hydrogen, your hydrogen NaOH plus can come from water. The reduction potential of water. So, water can take electron. Again, it can liberate hydrogen gas at cathode, where the reduction potential of water is minus 0.83 ohms. So this is 2. Out of these two, the first reaction, and the sodium is having electrode potential minus 2.71, and whereas water, to liberate hydrogen, it has a reduction potential minus 0.83. So out of these two, and the second reaction, it is having more reduction potential values, minus 0.83 means this is more value than the minus 2.71. So this reaction can take place at cathode instead of the first reaction. Means what? So water can liberate hydrogen at cathode instead of the deposition of sodium according to the reduction potential values. And similarly at anode. What happens at anode? You have anode oxidation, so negative ions, anion will move towards anode. Let us take chlorine. It will move towards anode and liberates electrons. And here the oxidation potential, the oxidation of chlorine is minus 1.36 volts. Similarly, OH minus, we have the negative ion, anion, OH hydroxide anion that can move towards anode and liberate the oxygen gas. Means here OH minus will come from water. So water can undergo oxidation at anode and it can liberate oxygen gas. And where the oxidation potential of water is minus 1.23 volts. This is oxidation potential. Now you can see out of these two, which is having, according to the statement, whichever is having more oxidation potential, that can move towards the anode, preferably. So out of these two, here liberation of oxygen, it is having more oxidation potential values, minus 1.23 volts, whereas the chlorine oxidation potential is 1.36. So this reaction should take place actually, but here what happens, instead of liberation of oxygen, chlorine gas can liberate. So this is not possible. According to electrode potential values, actually this should take place, but it will not. That is actually due to the over potential, the concept of over potential or over voltage. Over potential or this is also called over voltage. So what is the meaning of this over potential or over voltage? The liberation of oxygen from water, actually it is kinetically not favorable. So very slow reaction, liberation of oxygen from water. Even though it is thermodynamically favorable, but kinetically not favorable. So one statement here, liberation of oxygen from water is kinetically not favorable. Kinetically not favorable. So means the rate of the reaction is very slow. So here rate is very low. Then to increase the production of oxygen, we have to apply some more extra potential here. Instead of 1.23, we have to apply oppositely extra potential to increase the rate of the reaction, to make the reaction kinetically favorable. So in that process, if you increase the potential beyond 1.23, that means 1.25, 1.3, 1.35, 1.36, so on. So if you increase the potential, then the oxygen liberation can take place. But before that, when you apply the potential more than 1.23, so on, we will reach the point 1.36. And whenever we reach the point 1.36, and there the liberation of chlorine may possible. So here kinetically the liberation of oxygen is very slow, but kinetically the liberation of chlorine is very faster. So if you want to give the extra potential for the liberation of oxygen, so instead of oxygen production, here chlorine can move very fastly towards the anode. Then chlorine can liberate. So that is called over potential or over voltage. Due to the some supply of some extra potential, instead of liberation of oxygen, chlorine gas can liberate preferably. So this is a small exception here. Instead of the electrode potential values, due to the kinetically least reactive in nature for the liberation of oxygen, chlorine gas can liberate. That is called over voltage or over potential. Anyhow, like this we can identify the liberation of gases or compounds at their respective electrodes. But every time to remember all these reduction potential values not that much easy task. So here we can use another theory to identify very easily what type of ions can move toward the respective electrodes and deposit there. And that is called preferential discharge theory. According to the preferential discharge theory, the ion which is having less discharge potential values or which is having less energy to move towards their respective electrodes can deposit first. That is a preferential discharge theory. According to that preferential discharge theory, you can easily identify which type of ions can liberate at their respective electrodes when there is a competition between two cations and two anions. That is preferential adsorption theory. So what is this preferential adsorption theory? When solution contains two or more than two cations and anions. If the solution contains two or more than two cations and anion, then the ion with lower discharge potential, the lower discharge potential will be discharged first. Will be discharged first. And this is the preferential adsorption theory. So according to this, decreasing order of discharge potential for various cations. Decreasing order of discharge potentials for various cations. It is like this. Among all, lithium is having more reduction potential values, means discharge potential value. Then potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, chromium, iron, there is a ferrous ion, next hydrogen, and then after cupric ions, mercurous, silver, and gold. Right. These are the ions mostly we will get in the calculation part. So here we can see this first A and second A group element. There is S black elements. Mostly they are having. We know that according to electrochemical series, they are having less electrode potential values. According to the previous statement. So cation with less electrode potential values cannot deposit. The cation which is having more electrode potential values can deposit first at cathode. So according to this, all these ions, all these cations which are having, you can say above hydrogen in the electrochemical series. If there is a competition between these ions and hydrogen, then hydrogen only preferably discharge, or hydrogen only can liberate at cathode. Why? Because according to this, and here hydrogen is having less discharge potential values. This is according to the preferential adsorption theory. Or according to electrochemical series, we can say that you know the hydrogen is having more reduction potential value, that is a 0. But the remaining S black, these ion, they are having negative reduction potential values. So less reduction potential values compared to the hydrogen. So either we can explain with respect to the electrochemical series or with respect to this preferential absorption theory. Anyhow, this is the theory according to the electrochemical series only. Now here if there is a competition between this copper or silver gold with H plus ion, so instead of H plus, this copper or silver can deposit at cathode. Why? Because they are having positive reduction potential values. Again, if you see the electrochemical series, they are having positive values. Copper plus 3 and silver plus 0.8 and then 0.3 like that. Similarly, in case of anions, the decreasing order of discharge potential for various anions. So here, the fluoride anion is having more discharge potential. Then we have the sulfate, we have the nitrate, next we have OH minus hydroxide ion, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. So this is the one. Here fluoride, sulfate and nitrate, they are having more discharge potential values. Means more discharge potential means they are less preferable to deposit at anode. If there is a competition between OH minus and sulfate and OH minus, it can liberate oxygen. And there is a competition between OH minus and Cl minus, so Cl minus can liberate at anode. But even though these two values may not be correct according to the electrode potential values, but due to the over voltage or over potential, we will take the values according to the preferential discharge theory. So this is the preferential discharge theories. If you remember these two series, we can easily identify which type of ions can deposit at cathode or anode. Let us see the example back. This is aqueous NaCl. So instead of the electrode potential values, now we can take directly. Aqueous NaCl, it contains as usual Na plus and Cl minus, H plus and OH minus. So two cations and two anions. Now at anode, what happens at anode? Oxidation. Now you check the decreasing order of discharge potential for various anions. What are there here? Cl minus and OH minus. Now the competition here. The OH minus, it is having more discharge potential than the Cl minus. So for the discharging of Cl minus, we require less energy. So Cl minus can preferably move at anode. Simple. By using this order, we can identify. Now no need to take their electrode potential values, everything. No need to discuss here. Directly this one. It can liberate a chlorine gas. And at cathode, again you can check. Here sodium plus is having more discharge potential values compared to the H plus. So according to discharge potential theory, so H plus can take electron and can liberate as hydrogen gas at cathode. That's it. Very simple. Like this we can easily identify. Now what happens overall? At a cathode, hydrogen gas liberated, at anode, chlorine gas liberated. And what left? Here Na plus at cathode and OH minus at anode. Overall, the solution now left with Na plus and OH minus, and it will form sodium hydroxide. Means what? After electrolysis of aqueous NaCl, the resultant solution will become the basic nature. This is also very, very important. The resultant solution will become in basic nature. Initially we have the NaCl completely neutral, but after electrolysis you will get basic nature. Means what? The pH of the solution will increase. So this is also very, very important point. After electrolysis, the solution will becomes basic and its pH value will increase. Similarly, you can take some other examples. Let us see. Aqueous potassium sulfate. Again here, anyhow, electrode is a inert electrode only, all the cases, platinum electrode. This aqueous potassium sulfate, now it contains potassium ions, sulfate ions, and anyhow aqueous means H plus and OH minus. Now we can check at anode. Oxidation, now we have sulfate and OH minus. Now there is a competition between sulfate and OH minus. We know that out of these two, OH minus is having less discharge potential value. So OH minus can move towards anode and it can give oxygen. It liberates oxygen gas. And similarly at cathode. What happens at cathode? Now K plus and H plus. We know that H plus is having less discharge potential value. Then it can liberate hydrogen. So like this you will get now with respect to potassium sulfate, at anode oxygen can liberate, at cathode hydrogen can liberate. Similarly other examples, some other. Silver nitrate. Let me take aqueous silver nitrate. In aqueous silver nitrate, again we have the ions Ag plus, NO3 minus, H plus and OH minus. Again at anode, oxidation NO3 minus, OH minus. Again OH minus, it is having less discharge potential values. Again liberate is the oxygen gas. Next at cathode. What is there at cathode? H plus and Ag plus. We know that Ag plus, it is having less discharge potential values compared to H plus. And this Ag plus ion now can take electrons and it can deposit as silver. Now in case of aqueous silver nitrate, at anode oxygen gas can liberate, but at cathode silver can deposit. Let's take one more example here. Aqueous copper sulfate. Again in case of aqueous copper sulfate, we have the ions like this, copper 2 plus, SO4 2 minus, H plus and OH minus. Now at anode. What happens at anode? Again sulfate and OH minus. Out of these two, OH minus can give oxygen, and at cathode we have the copper H plus and copper 2 plus. Again copper 2 plus is having less discharge potential values and it can deposit as copper at a cathode. Again here at anode oxygen, at cathode copper can deposit. So like this you can easily identify what type of substances can deposit at anode and cathode if two or more than two cations and anions present by using simply preferential discharge theory according to these orders. So this is the case 2. And the next we have case 3, same aqueous solutions electrolysis but by using the active electrodes. So here we have discussed about the inert electrode, and next case we will see by using active electrodes. Then what type of substances can deposit at anode and cathode. That part we will see in the next class.